This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out of It.
Welcome back, everyone. That's right. We here.
You know what day it is.
You know what day it is.
What time it is.
Also, just special thing because it's that day. We're recording this on tonight because we do it live every time. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes,
to all
it is.
all the wonderful mothers out there. Even the ones maybe listening to this. I don't know how many women I think are. Listen, I don't want to say nothing, but I'm pretty sure most of our audience is men, but it's fine.
Sus.
I'm pretty sure, but if you are a woman and a mother,
congrats.
we appreciate you and thank you. You deserve this day.
As long as you know.
As long as you're, whatever. We won't go too far into that.
Ain't that, yeah.
Yeah, ain't that podcast. We do have a mission for you, though, on this beautiful Mother's Day.
As we always do.
Please go like, comment, subscribe. Give us a nice little review on Spotify or Apple Music if you want to.
Suggestion.
We really appreciate you just listening, even if you do that. So thank you so much. Really appreciate everyone. We do requests every 5 episodes, so please get those in as well.
It do be coming.
And we said last episode, even if you want us to watch like a good movie, like an objectively good movie, we
whatever
can do that.
you want. Like it's obviously up to our mostly my discretion, but depending on what you suggest, like I could be on the podcast. You have to cast your vote for the God Alex to the God Alex.
See if your movie is worthy of us watching on the podcast.
It could be anything.
I supply the beer, he does the movies. Okay, that's just what happens.
That's how we came upon tonight's movie.
Yes, holy shit. Really,
it's gonna be a rambler, I think.
Yeah,
because
The name really doesn't do it justice because it makes it sound. I mean, I guess it does, but like
I don't know the name.
I don't know what else you could have called it.
You see the name, right? And there's one thing that comes to mind. You see this name, you think Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the thing you immediately comes to your brain.
Right.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street. It's an 80s movie, so it's a Nightmare on Elm Street riff. Because the movie is Dream Demon.
Yeah, we watched Dream Demon from 1980.
Again.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell it was.
1987.
I literally didn't know. The only thing I kind of glanced at was about a bride-to-be, but that was it. And like Dream Demon, I get the title and it fits. But there's also that part of me that kind of thinks it might not do it justice.
I kind of think it does it a disservice because it makes it...
Because you kind of go into this expecting...
Well, it makes it sound like kind of like a schlockier film than it is. And it is interesting to watch this movie with that lens at first because even from the jump...
Well, it starts with insanity.
Yeah, it just like starts... Like all the dream sequences are just fucking mental. They're just so out of this world, just unreal and uncanny for,
and that's the thing,
on purpose.
For me is like if you ask me to like define like when I do like a movie that centers around dreams, is I want the dream sequences to feel... they want them to feel like crazy and weird. They shouldn't feel normal.
What's crazy about this one, and the thing I like, and not a lot of movies have achieved this, and this is one of them that does achieve it, you don't know what is reality and what is a dream. Like, they do a really good job of tricking your brain into thinking she's in a dream when she's not, or that she's like not in a dream when she is. And most of the movie is set in a fucking nightmare.
Well, it's also the other thing I do like about it, and it's again, not a lot of movies do this, but one of the things I do like about it a lot is it's relentless.
Yes.
Like, the movie is...
And it's pretty bleak. I mean, there's no really good. Like, there's no really like pep up scene.
Well, it's like, I think at like the 30-minute mark, probably, it is relentless of just nightmarish, stressful. There's no like peace in it. It's just relentless.
So we'll give you a nutshell version, like
Yeah.
in most Ramblers. Woman is getting married to a military guy. And this is set in London. It's set in Britain.
And she's a normal, like, she's just a common person. She's not famous, but her husband that she's marrying is like a war hero, so he's famous.
Well, and there's also some things going on around him that are questionable, and we don't know exactly what's going on with him, but something is. He's like always gone.
Yeah.
There's like reporters trying to like interview her.
Well, because she's not famous and she's marrying a famous person.
Right.
It's
Well,
like
and
that.
there's a like a potential scandal.
Yeah, but it's like that. Well, it's more like that kind of. It's like heavy on kind of losing your privacy, I would say.
Right.
And just like what happens if you marry someone who's famous is just paparazzi is just like in your face.
And I mean, we only get 2 paparazzis, but I mean, it's still more. That's more than she's used to.
It's a prevalent thing of like her privacy's not
Right. But
sacred.
what happens is they decided to move into a new flat. Her
Yes.
dad bought an entire building for them to live in. And I guess her dad is well off.
Yeah.
Like her dad has money, but she is just like kind of like an unknown person.
She's not famous.
Yeah.
Unlike her husband.
Right.
Soon to
She's
be
just
husband.
like average, but her parents are very well off. And so he decides to buy this entire flat for their marriage present, and they move in, and weird shit starts happening. There's also an American woman that comes from America. We don't know why. She just stays at a hotel, and this is when the weird, the dreams start to kick off.
And the two of them meet.
So the American woman saves the British woman from the paparazzi.
It's these two guys.
Yeah.
And she saves her kind of from them, and they become friends. And she is also looking. She thinks she has a history, the American woman, with this house,
Which is why she's there. She's
been adopted, but she knows her original like parents were from here, and she
which
has
is
a
why
history.
she tries to get close
Yeah.
with this British woman. And so, through talking and everything, they kind of figure out. She doesn't know why she has a connection to this. She can't remember anything or like what happened, but she knows there's something pulling her to this house. And so
And shit gets crazy.
this is around the 30-minute mark when literally the entire thing becomes like this fever dream nightmare
Yes.
sequence. Because, the dreams start to pull in this American woman into... she starts to pull her into her dreams.
Yeah.
And she also pulls the paparazzi into her dreams. She pulls like the fat guy into her dreams. That's all like grotesque and like, is all schlummy and, gross. And every time you see him, he's like eating something nasty.
He gets more
He's
disgusting.
getting like boils
as, like, the
all
movie
over his
goes on.
fucking face. He like snot and grease and fucking just disgusting shit all over his face all the time. And so it just really ramps up the paranoia because at a certain point, then the other paparazzi guy is questioning why his partner is missing.
Yeah, because he basically, at some point, you see him die in the dream world or whatever, and he disappears from the real world, and his partner starts looking for him. And then he also gets pulled into the dream world, and he becomes like I don't even know what the hell you call it. He gets like a weird, like, fucking, like, puffy demon face.
It almost felt like maybe they were going for some sort of like there's a lot of like things you could maybe point to, like allegories.
This is one of those movies where nothing is explicitly told to you.
Well, because so there's like this reoccurring theme with an angel motif, right?
Yeah.
And so what I got, because the fat guy is always like eating shit, right? He's always getting more and more grotesque and eating shit. So, and the other guy gets like a big nose and is all like weirdly shaped. So maybe like 7 deadly sins, like gluttony and vanity kind of thing.
I'm guessing because he even comments at one point in the movie, like when the guy's like, they're sitting in a car and, you know, the fat guy's like stuffing his face and he kind of like looks at him like, that he's kind of the more image conscious of the two.
Yeah, so I was assuming if we got, I mean, it's only the 4 that get pulled into this like nightmare dream sequence, this shit that happens for like literally like 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, like
they're going through like labyrinths and like
it's like a mirror world of
emphasis on mirror, because when they see mirrors in this world, there's no reflection.
Yeah.
It's just nothingness. It's just
black.
It's just pitch, total darkness. And they even say that, like, there's nothing like, you know, total darkness.
Yeah.
Why is it so dark all the time? And you also constantly see this man on fire, like running towards the camera. You don't know what he's doing. He just screams and he runs towards the camera.
You see that, and you see a little girl dressed in all white, and sometimes she's like she's on like an angel thing. There's an angel thing going on with her.
Now, I will say, with all this labyrinth stuff, all this dream stuff, I want to give a huge, like, I think this man deserves a fucking, like, an Oscar. I really do. The cinematography and the camera work.
This movie looks great.
Goes fucking insane. Like, they use every trick in the book and it all looks good. They have like 360 shots. Movie. They have dolly shots. They have Dutch angles. They have tracking shots. They have, you know, like zipline shots.
Crazy
they have zoom in shots.
POVs and just
like everything they could use, they used. And it looks incredible. There's this one sequence towards the end where it's changing between 2 characters on the fly. Mm-hmm. And it is like seamless. I couldn't, and I know I'm glazing this like a fucking donut, but it deserves it. Like it was seamless. I couldn't tell where the cuts were, where they like transitioned to
it's just like a character like going across the camera, but it immediately swipes to like different characters on the
And I mean,
fly.
this is in the 80s, so like the edit, I mean, so like special effects weren't like what they are now, and I could not fucking tell where the transitions were, where the cuts were. I could not tell. The editing is insane, and the camera work is like top notch.
I also love I always love movies that do like a mid scene Dutch angle to kind of like indicate to you that shit's getting crazy, and this is a movie that does that.
Well, so you're listening to They Mostly Come Out at Night,
yes,
where we watch B movies. A lot of directors do not understand what a Dutch angle is supposed to convey.
Yes.
And a lot of them will use it just randomly. They just throw a Dutch angle in there. And it's like, it's supposed to throw off your perspective. It's supposed to...
it's like indicating that it's
something is askew, right? Like that's the whole point of a Dutch angle is something is fucked up. So
like one of my favorites, and I even mentioned it when we were watching it because it reminded me in this movie, is in Predator, when Carl Weathers is him and Mac are hunting the Predator, and Mac gets his fucking brains blown out, and Carl Weathers is looking around, and there's a scene where he sees the dead body of the guy with his brains blown out, and as he like calls his name, the camera switches like mid shot frames into a Dutch angle, and then the rest of the scene as he gets killed by the Predator is a Dutch angle, and it's like mid shot, everything's normal, and then shit's going down, and mid scene it tilts. And they do that in this movie where there's like this nightmare scene where this little girl is being yelled at by her dad, and he like comes in the room and he's kind of like somewhat not fully normal but somewhat normal, and then he like starts yelling at her, and it just tilts.
Well, because she's in a room she's not supposed to be in apparently, and that's when it tilts. And then the rest of the scene, because she's hiding under tables, because he's like hunting her, and it's all Dutch angles, and then she gets under the table and it kind of like adjusts a little bit.
Yeah.
But then he finds her and it goes back into a Dutch angle and he pulls her into a room. And that's when you kind of get the semblance of the angel because he puts her on this like art piece that he's making.
And you see all this fire everywhere.
Yeah. So you don't know what's going on with that. Well, I won't reveal what's going on until the end. I don't know. There's like just so much like that weird fucking crazy sequence when you don't know if she's like dreaming or not, but like the husband calls and it's like a woman is next to him just randomly for like
A naked woman, yeah.
for like 5 seconds.
Because he's absent for most of the movie.
Well, and apparently, it's kind of a one-off thing, but like the reporters say that he's caught up in like a scandal too.
Yeah.
Like he's there's something going on, like he doesn't have any money and he's using her for the money.
Yeah.
And so like, and I mean, that kind of pays off in the end too, where she goes to the hospital, because
he puts her there. Yeah.
well, because she traps the American woman in the dream world and she can't get out. So she like goes and tries to get her out and then gets caught by the husband and they like kind of like,
they wake her up.
They wake her up and and you learn that the husband, well, the soon to be husband, doesn't give a shit about her.
No.
He doesn't care. He doesn't want to live with a crazy woman is why he's like.
He cares about his image.
Yeah.
Yeah. His image, because he's the famous one.
And she's going through something and he's like, well, I didn't sign up for this, basically. And he just isn't there to support her while she's going through this like insane shit. Now, I also want to call out, before we get too far into the end or anything, listen, I know some people are going to be like, oh, whatever. The queer coding is there.
Okay, it's a little, I'm not stupid.
It is subtle, but it's there.
Well, so a big thing of this movie is fear of, she is scared of marriage, okay? She's scared of marrying this guy because the whole opening of the movie is they're doing the ceremony and, their whole ceremony.
I do love that open
sequence. I love the opening. It's such a great way to open it. It's such a fucking, like, in-your-face way to open a movie. Is, she's getting dressed and it's all, like, good. She's wearing, like, the gown.
It's very, like, ethereal. It's very angelic.
She, you think everything's fine, and then they're doing the ceremony, and the priest is like, do you take so-and-so to be your husband?
Yeah.
And she's just like, no. And then,
and she's like, I'm sorry, I just can't.
I just can't, and like...
And he, like, looks at her, and he's like, you bitch, and like, slaps her.
And she, like, she says something to him, like, you bastard, and she smacks him, and his fucking head flies off.
Yeah. Well... And you can tell that, like, she's having second thoughts because he's not a good person because the next dream sequence is he slaps her again.
Well, the next one is, like, she's, like, again, it's, like, this, like, crazy, like...
It's this weird... It's, like, an over-the-shoulder shot, but, like, not one you see typically.
It's, like, mounted to her her shoulder, and she's, like, approaching, and it's, like, this giant room. And it's just like...
And it's like his parents.
And they're sitting there having like tea or whatever. And she just like walks up and he's like, you bitch. And like it shows her and she's like not fully dressed. And of course he smacks her.
Well, and then she also implies, because she talks to a woman who's like trying to help her with her dreams. Yeah. And it's basically like a kind of like a therapist friend. Is basically saying like, well, like you're probably just getting cold feet.
Well,
like,
even like the scene with her is like it doesn't actually tell you anything because she kind of says all this stuff.
Well, she just theorizes. She like, doesn't say what's going on.
Well, she says like, I think, him in your dream. I think he's a symbol for something. What that is, you have to figure out.
Right.
Because she says like, I'm scared.
Well, and like I love that just like look away and you miss it. See, like line where she literally says, "Well, why did he rape me in one of my dreams?
I got a nightmare where he raped me." Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't typically have nightmares where your significant other like does that.
There's also the scene where she's talking with our American woman, and they're kind of getting deep into it, and she's like, "Yeah, I've never really loved a man." And he's the first man I've like felt this way about.
Well, did you notice the friend like never mentions anything about relationships. Like, she mentions a little bit about guys she's dated.
In
but,
but long ago.
But, like,
Yeah.
never has found the one, right?
Yeah.
And there was one that was close.
But it was like a long time ago.
But it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And hasn't mentioned, and they were like, men never worked out for her, basically. So.
But she, our main character, says that she's basically a virgin. And that also kind of like plays into it. But the big thing, the fucking elephant's just there in the room, is this film is heavily queer coded, okay?
It really is. Now, there's nothing to confirm that, obviously.
Well, everything in this movie,
but
nothing
it's very
is explicitly
apparent.
told.
It's very apparent. I do love the
Ending?
the ambiguous, just the ambiguity in the entire movie, because it has this air of ambiguity. You have no idea, and that's basically what a nightmare is. Like, you have no idea what's going on or why you're having this nightmare.
It's like this thing of like, almost like this thing of these two women that have, there's like an underlying fear or trauma, right? You have our main character, she has this endless fear of her marriage to this guy, okay? And then this new character, this American woman, who she brings in this new fear, this trauma of this, girl in an angel costume burning. And it's like these two women have like their shared dual fears and traumas that they work out by the end of the film. Together. And then, but it's like they immediately click. They're immediately like, we ball. Fucking ride or die, okay?
Well, they're with each other like the entire movie.
Yeah.
She never really leaves her side. She tries to once, but that's when she gets trapped in the dream world. Because there's that crazy scene where they're
the
like
elevator.
they start fucking shaking and like disappearing into the fucking dream world.
But they're like together for the whole thing, and then by the end of the movie, they both work through their issue.
Yeah.
Our main character, she decides, fuck the marriage.
I love how she drops the ring into the fucking
like the church donation box.
The donation box.
And that's it. And they walk away together. And it's like, again, it's there. I'm not stupid. It's really, really fucking subtle, but it's hard to miss it.
There is something special and something to be said about a horror movie where no one really dies.
Also, it's not just that, Will. It's an R-rated. So it's an R-rated horror movie, okay? No one actually dies other than the one character.
Well, the guy on fire
in the flashback.
And again, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
He's the only one that dies, and it's in a flashback.
Yes.
It's not in the confines of the actual plot. Mm-hmm. It's in the what led up to the
trauma that a character's working through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I know it's cliche to say a movie's about trauma, but this actually does it really well, where it doesn't beat you over the fucking head with it like most newer movies about trauma.
It's so allegorical, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
It's really, again, there's no exposition to this.
Well, no, I mean, it literally is just a nightmare the entire fucking time. And you don't know what's reality and what's not, and it doesn't explain shit to you.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that, to be honest. I really do like that. I like how you can interpret kind of whatever you want from it. And this is just our interpretation. Who knows if someone else watches it, what...
Oh, yeah, someone else can get something else out of it.
What interpretations you're going to get from it, because you can get whatever you want. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it is about trauma, but it's an ambiguous movie about trauma.
And I also saw other people saying, I looked up other people's takes on it, and there's people who were saying that it's a movie about Princess Diana, her marriage.
Okay.
Because she wasn't famous or whatever, and she married a fucking the royal whatever.
Yeah, it was miserable,
and,
right?
Her fucking she endlessly had paparazzi just breathing down her neck and digging into her personal life because of it. I mean, the movie is British, so why not?
Yeah.
But again, that's there. You can get that out of it.
I mean, we're not British, so obviously
there.
we don't know that experience, but
that's there.
It is there, and we weren't alive when that all really happened.
And like
but
that's all there. It's all, you know, you can read that into it because a good chunk of this movie is her being hounded by these guys.
yeah, but these two guys, they like break into her house. They're sleazy as hell. The guy's like constantly taking pictures of her.
Yeah, it's really
It's like implied that he wants to. It's pretty like obvious that he is trying to make sexual advances towards her too, and so like that plays into the into the nightmare too.
To someone who is very clearly afraid of intimacy with a man,
right? Well, and you know, it's just like they're hounding her relentlessly. She's getting these nightmares. It's all this fever dream. So like really does a good job of just like throwing you for a fucking loop. You have no idea what's reality and what's like a nightmare. And
scenes
what's
just like
they just happen. They just fucking
they start normal and then
well, and like they start normal, like she's not in a dream, but then she's been in a dream the entire fucking time, and it's like what, like holy shit. And then there's times where she'll like wake up, but she's still in a dream, and then she'll like actually wake up, but then you're like, is she still in a fucking dream or is she? But it's not annoying, right? It doesn't like you're not like, oh my fucking god, here we go again. It just fucking it just goes for it, and I love that about this movie, and that's where I'm saying it does that so well. That paranoia of like, is she in a dream or not? It just is the whole fucking movie. It literally never stops. It starts with a goddamn dream sequence. It doesn't start with like introducing the characters.
No. I mean, it kind of does, but yeah.
I mean, it introduces them in a way, but like what I mean is it's kind of crazy that it starts with that crazy of a dream sequence and then almost immediately goes into another dream sequence. Like you barely get a breather to know who these fucking characters are in real life before you're just thrown into another dream sequence. And it does that a lot where you don't get, like you said, it's relentless. You don't get a single breath between dream sequences.
Yeah, it's just...
There's very little time set in the real world in this movie.
And even when it is set in the real world, it's not, like... It's not calming. It's not...
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, you know... It's like, even if it is set in reality, so to speak, it's like the characters dealing with the fallout of what they just dealt with.
Right.
And so it's just this endless, relentless stress going on.
I do love the play with the mirror stuff, though. I always love a movie that plays around with like a mirror dimension kind of thing.
Opposites and
all this stuff, because, I mean, there's like so many stories and so many movies like dealing with like mirror images and mirror realms and demonic forces. We've seen some of them on the fucking podcast, like Prince of Darkness.
Darkness is great. This is another one that goes into that because...
Well, because like, I mean, there's that sequence where she sees like a magazine and it's like the wrong way.
Well, yeah, they're in like, they walk through a door and they're back in their house, but you know, everything's just wrong. Everything's wrong. And they see a magazine and all the words are reversed and they know that they're in like a mirror world where everything's twisted and dark and all the mirrors are, you know, they're just black voids now.
Yeah, exactly. And nothing really makes sense. It's all fucking black and dark, and you keep seeing the disgusting paparazzi.
I do love the part where, you know, the American woman is like trapped in the dream opposite world, and our normal woman's like in the kind of the normal world, and they're like at the same mirror, and it does that like shot where like, you know, it's like the two women in the two mirrors, and they're both like mimicking each other's movements of like turning around, and I don't know, it's really well done.
Everything about this movie is really well done for a very unknown, like no one's watched it movie. I've never heard of this movie. And it's crazy that I haven't heard of it because it's so well done. Like everything about it is so prestige. Again, I know I'm glazing. It's a B movie. It's 5.6 on IMDb, but like, I think it needs to be watched. I think people need to watch this. It's so well done for like a quote unquote B. I wouldn't even call this a B movie, but quote unquote B British movie. I think it's like so good. It's a lot better than like a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
like a lot of stuff even like that has come out recently.
Yeah, a lot of better, reputation stuff. Like I love the so the whole thing with the angel, right? I don't know, it's just so like once it clicks in your head.
Are we gonna go through the ending?
Yeah. Because basically the whole time is you see this visions and these dreams of this little girl, this little blonde girl
getting attacked by her your dad and dragged into a room.
And you see her on like a angel thing. She's like tied to this like stand, this like log or whatever.
And it's like engulfed in flames.
And this whole room's engulfed in flames and she's screaming for help.
Well, so there is that one part where before she goes to the like psych ward for a minute, where she saves the little girl.
She saves her and like puts her in bed.
Well, and she's like getting away from the fire, and I guess the fire was so hot that when she takes her away, it's like ice.
Yeah, she like takes her away.
That's another allegory that could be like.
And yeah, she gets frozen, and then she saves her, and she's like the ice just like melts off of her skin, and she saves her, and then you don't really know like.
Well, and then she goes to the psych ward, and they're like, so the doctor that cares about her is trying to figure out, what's going on. And they're watching this reel of the little girl being interviewed.
Because she
goes
mentions,
into like a found footage thing.
She's like, they're trying to figure out like who is this Jenny woman?
Because they're looking into the history of the house and Jenny. Yeah, exactly. And,
but they don't know where she is.
Yeah. So they see like this found footage thing
of it's like a camera walking through a house that's like been completely burned.
You see like a torch skeleton. You see like the tree that she was on and everything, and you see like bits and bobs of the house, and you can tell it's the same house where we keep seeing the little girl. And she's like, well, this was her.
Yeah,
and that's where it's revealed that it was, it was
like,
the friend.
They're interviewing her on the footage, and they're like, asking her, do you know what happened?
But she can't remember what happened.
Like, I can't remember. And our main character realizes that's her. That she's the one she's been seeing in all that she's the one she's been seeing in the visions. And that was her.
That's the American friend, yeah, exactly.
And then later on, you basically see like the full thing acted out. Like the little girl being dragged from the room, and it's like cutting back, and like you finally get the connection that it's her. Because it keeps cutting back.
She keeps changing into the adult version and
back
the
to
child
the little girl.
version. Yeah. And she gets tied up to the tree, and she like before he can put her on, like she knocks over
he's making like an art exhibit,
like out of stone and like an angel. And I don't know if it's supposed to like imply that the mom was encased in the stone or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, she knocks over in like the struggle. She knocks over like a bottle of turpentine or something, and he's like grinding a pick.
Yeah. There's all these sparks flying off of it.
Yeah, and so he's grinding a pick. I love how like the turpentine like sprinkles past like safety glasses. Like, did you notice that too?
I did, yeah.
And then like it sparks steel wool, and like a flame starts, and he's like goes on fire, and then you finally see what the man on fire was.
It's him.
And he's like struggling, and then she's like watching it all happen as he's like dying. And the friend comes in and sees her like engulfs him.
And it's this, I don't know, this, like the music and everything, it's really good where, she sees her and like she finally realizes everything. And she sees the little girl, she sees the adult woman, and she like fully rescues her now.
Yes.
And then they have like this really tender moment, and she finally rescues her. And
like they try and get out of the house, but they figure out that they have to go through, they have to basically go through the trauma.
Yes.
To get out of this nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Like she has to remember, she has to live through it again to get through it. And it's like, that could also
she can't do it alone.
That could also be an allegory because like, sometimes you have to go through, like if you've ever done therapy, you have to like relive it, a lot of the trauma.
The American woman, she does, like, beginning of the movie, she has no idea what happened. And she has no idea her past. She has no clue what happened.
She just knows she has a connection to the house, but she has no idea why or how. So when they get rescued, that's when the whole church scene happens, and she finally lays to rest her father, essentially, and like figures out like where he's buried, and that's what they do.
But it's the same thing with like the main character. She's like, she in a way also works through her fears of this marriage, because she didn't really fully confront it until this the strange lady came along.
Once she finds her stride, because she finds the strength to leave him and like
to say I
don't want to get married. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot to be said about like that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and they both leave together.
Yep.
And I also love the fucking like.
I love how they throw the one scene of levity in the entire fucking movie.
Well, because it's like the end. It's like
the end.
It's like this again. The camera just POV like goes through this whole house. Like the door opens up and it just like goes through the whole house.
Well, you see it's like for sale again, right? And like
it goes down to the basement, and then there's like this wall, and there's just like banging on it, and someone just starts knocking.
I honestly thought it was gonna knock a brick out, and then like the credits were gonna roll, like it's like a bamboozle. Yeah. But no, it's the paparazzi break through the wall.
And they're like, "Oh, we're finally out."
They're all fixed and everything, except the one guy, because in one scene she rips off his ear, and also he gets punched through the face.
She punches
she punches through his face because he's trying to like eat her.
But yeah, she rips off his ear, and like they both walk through this wall, and they're like, "Oh, we're finally out." And like the guy's ear like grows back, and I almost like I just like, I don't know, it's just like, again, it's just funny to think about, like, because nothing is really truly explicitly told to you, that these like paparazzi, they're just like,
you know what I just thought of? Sorry, I know we're trying to explain this levity scene. Could the husband be a representation of greed?
Maybe, because I mean they do mention that he's broke.
He's broke and using her for money.
Yeah,
and all he's looking for is money, like a meal ticket. I don't know. Like, I wonder if you could look at this film. Like, I might have to watch it again and see if I can find like all the 7 deadly sins.
Oh yeah.
Like
maybe
there might be a representation for lust.
I mean, our fucking gluttonous paparazzi definitely has.
And I guess they could be like maybe a double meaning. Yeah. Like he could be gluttony and lust.
Yeah.
And maybe it could be vanity and greed and stuff like that. Yeah. Because he cares so much about his image too.
Oh yeah.
But he's also very greedy, like wanting her money and stuff. I don't know. I like that there could be a lot to take away from.
Oh yeah, there's a lot you could.
And I like that there's kind of like a rewatchability to that. But anyway, so he like looks at his ear, and the fucking ear grows back,
and they're just like fine.
Well, and they're like, let's get the fuck out of here, basically.
But it's like funny because like it's almost like because they're paparazzi and like they're just they they're fine with being in the. It's like they're in
this nightmare world.
They can easily exist in this fucked up demon world because they're already fucked up.
They've already been harassing this woman.
Well, it's like they're already bottom feeders of society.
Exactly. So they don't care.
Yeah. So it's like whatever. They're fine with it.
And his ear grows back, and they're fine.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. Let's get the fuck out of here. On to the next one. Basically.
On to the next victim. The next poor woman we can torture.
Which is crazy. Like, I don't know. I love that. I think, and it's like one of the, like I said, it's the only scene of levity.
It's one of the few scenes of levity that doesn't like immediately, lead to
like nightmare shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that this movie is a non-stop nightmare. Non-stop fever dream nightmare. Everything about it is uncanny in the best possible way. And
I
really fuck with this movie.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's
very stylish. It's very well done. It's very well edited. It's very well made.
There's a lot to think about.
There's a lot to think about. There's a lot you could take away from it.
Which I love.
It's not an annoying horror movie about trauma. It's actually really well done and very different,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I hate that I haven't heard about this movie.
This little thing.
This little tiny thing from from 87.
88.
88, sorry. 88, like fucking, like...
This little movie.
This little tiny movie from 88 that just fucking, I don't know, like showed me that, like, holy shit, like, this is fucking insane.
That, yeah, it has all these, these themes and this allegory, all of this just stuff underlying, like just running just barely under the surface. And it doesn't explicitly tell you anything, but if you really think about it, it all makes sense. It all comes together easily.
All from a guy, we haven't mentioned this because I was trying to get, I was glazing the movie.
You're saving this.
All from a guy, no shit, named Harley Cockless.
It's kind of funny. So if you look on IMDb, his name is listed as Harley Cockless. But in this movie,
It's
he's credited.
Cokliss.
It removes the E, so it's Harley Cockless.
Which is a very unfortunate name.
It's a very funny name. I think that's, it's a very
When I saw it at
name.
first, I was like, holy shit, we're watching a movie made by Harley Cockless.
Harley Cockless got cocks.
Well, he's got cocks for days. Let me tell you, after watching this movie, he is anything but cockless.
Yeah, again, movie I've never heard of, director I've never fucking heard of.
Apparently, he was also like an assistant director on fucking Empire Strikes Back, which is insane.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I will say there's good actors in the movie. Like, the guy, the sleazy fucking gluttonous reporter, if you look him up, Timothy Spall.
He's been in a lot of shit.
If you watch, like, any British, like, acclaimed British movies.
The main actress was in, like, Doctor Who for a long run. Like, there's a lot of, like, good actors in this.
And I see it. It's fitting because I don't know. I don't know how movies like this kind of just slip under the surface.
I don't know. This is something I would have, like, loved to have watched, like, before.
This is very much up my alley before.
I'm sad that it took me until, like, my 30s to watch this fucking movie.
To even know it existed.
Yeah. Because I would have loved to see this fucking movie when I was in my, like, 20s or teens.
I also, just before, we're done with our donut glazing, I do love the scene when she's in, like, the dream world and she's running around these, like archways and stuff. And it keeps, like, doing these, like, shots where it's, like, it's like her running up to the camera and then the camera just, like, does a quick 180
to the mirror, right?
To, like, the guy approaching her.
Yep.
And she keeps running around and the camera, like, follows her through these caverns, and then again she runs with the camera and it does, like, this quick 180 to the guy. I don't know, there's just a lot.
I love that scene also, talking about 180s, when it, like, 180s and snaps to the fucking woman staring at the mirror.
Yes.
When it, like, it's so it's so smooth and fluid, like, oh, it was fucking buttery smooth editing. There's, like, fucking 180s and snaps to the fucking, like, other woman in the mirror, and it's fucking just it looks so fucking cool.
Well, it's also funny because, like, one of the first scenes of the American Woman is after she checks into the hotel, there's that scene of, like, it's like a nightstand, and it's just, like, the camera, like, dollies up to it, and
in a mirror too.
And it's a mirror, and it's just her sleeping on the bed, and it zooms in to where you don't see the outline of the mirror, you just see her reflection in the mirror sleeping on the bed, and it's, like, such a good way to set up where the movie's going.
I also love that crash zoom it does on, like, the locked door when the gluttonous guy is, like, running after them. And then it, like, pulls back and they're both in the fucking room. Oh, my God. Dude, like, I could talk about, like, a bunch of shots.
They do the vertigo shots.
It's so good. Everything is so good. They do that fucking weird Jacob's Ladder, like, shaking
that was
thing.
freaking insane. Because it's so simple. It's
I know.
so simple to do.
But it's effective.
Yeah.
It's really effective.
Because it's done in a way where it doesn't look cheesy.
No, and they do it like it's not for like laughs or anything.
Yeah.
And like it's so well done, and they do it like with their full chest, and they just fucking go for it, and it looks so good.
It's great.
They don't half-ass it, which I love. Now, I don't even know why we have to do a shitty to pretty on this one. It's our rating system. If it's a fucking 1, it's unwatchable garbage. If it's a 10, it's a fucking masterpiece of entertainment. We do it on entertainment value only. And if you can't guess what we're going to fucking give this, I don't know.
Look, it's a 10. I'm sorry.
This is a 10. It's like, it's so entertaining. It just flew by. I didn't even like need to check the time. It just flew by. I wish it was a little longer, to be honest.
Well, it's just any movie that kind of makes you really feel this, like...
When you care about the characters, they're really well written.
Yeah.
I think, like...
It's simple.
They're not annoying. Like, the paparazzi's annoying, but that's on purpose.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
You know, it's like... And the husband is annoying, but that's on purpose.
Yeah, he's just absent. Like,
He's just an asshole. But, like, you really care about the two main characters. Like, you really get a feel for their trauma and what they're going through. And, like, like, you know, you see the degradation of the main character.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, how fucked up she gets through the movie. And you're, like, rooting for her to figure this out because you, like, feel bad because, like, no one, like, it's like no one knows what's going on. And the people who should care don't.
And you love the kind of, like, you know, ride or die, like, thing they have going.
Yeah, well, and even if it's just a friendship, even if we're looking too much at the queer-codedness of it, like, even if it's a friendship, like...
It's great.
You know, you love that, because it's like, you want a friend like that. And they will, like, kind of, like, go through that fucking big struggle with you. And, of course, they're bonded by the end, because they just they both went through their own trauma, but bonded in them.
Yeah, they helped their respective traumas and fears.
We love some trauma bonding girlies, okay, on this podcast, all right? I am all for that. I love that.
Everyone needs a friend to work through shit, all right?
Yeah, you need a trauma buddy, okay? It's the buddy system. You need someone.
Oh yeah, it's true.
You need some.
No, right?
Well, and like that could be said with trauma. Like it does take a village.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not our podcast. We're not a self-help podcast. We're a movie review podcast. But it does take a village. It takes a lot to get through something hard. It takes people supporting you, and like it takes people working with you to get through something difficult.
Look, Will, it's like Rex Kwon Do. We use the buddy system.
We do
no
use
more flying solo.
We use the buddy system, exactly. No more flying solo. I don't know. This movie's great. You should definitely go watch it.
You can. I know you. So you can rent this on Amazon if you want to watch it free. The only thing as of today that I know it's on is if you are one of the 2 people that has AMC Plus. It's on AMC Plus.
You could do a 7-day free trial.
I know at one point this movie was on the Criterion channel, which is how I was like, it was kind of like to me like a sign. This is not going to be your normal movie because it's on the fucking Criterion channel.
And I kind of get that actually now.
Which like, yeah, it makes sense now, but it's just like, you know, it's not going to be your normal average B movie.
No, not at all. And it isn't. And that's the best part about that.
It's got lofty goals.
It does. And I like it. And I'm here for it. I wish more movies kind of did this kind of like stylistic fever dream kind of stuff.
Well, what I appreciate is like, I'm not the biggest fan of movies that are just like completely just impenetrable, incomprehensible. But I do love movies where there's a clear, like you just have to pay attention, but there is a clear meaning and point to it.
Well, like, right, I don't like nonsense, and this movie isn't nonsense.
But you have to actually think about it.
Well, you have to pay attention, you have to think about it, and I also love movies where it does that, but you can also interpret it in so many different ways. There's so many different takeaways that people could get from this. Like, it's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of narrative. It's like you take away from it what you want to take away from it. You don't have to agree with us that it's about what we thought it was about, like that person who thought it was about Princess Diana. It's like there's different allegories you can take away from this, and maybe your experience is different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, and I know, like, we don't get a ton of commenters on our YouTube channel, but if you do want to tell us, like, how you interpreted the movie, if you did watch it, I encourage you to watch it. And it'd be awesome to talk to you about, like, how you interpreted, like, how you interpreted the movie and, like, what you thought and, like, what you thought was going on with the main characters and everything. And if you can find the 7 deadly sins, that would be awesome, too. I would love a breakdown of that.
This is also true.
I would just, it's one of those movies where you'd love to watch like a YouTube video, like a lengthy YouTube video, like breaking down.
Oh yeah, every little
like
thing.
Like the hidden messages and meanings behind everything in this movie. I love those kind of videos, and I would love a video on this movie breaking that down, because I'm very interested in what this movie has to say.
What everyone got out of it.
Yeah. Exactly. But that's. Listen, this has like been the biggest glaze-a-thon on the planet for this movie, but it's warranted. It's a fucking awesome movie. You should definitely go check it out. I know we spoiled it, but I'm hoping that you watch the movies before we review them, except for the really bad ones.
You should watch those too.
Go watch. Shout out Slime City.
Slime City is a lot of fun.
Slime City was really fun. It was an enjoyable watch for a very different reason.
But this is clearly
for
a real movie.
Very different reason. I don't know. Like there's so much to love about this movie, and I probably will rewatch it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I want to see if I get anything different from like a rewatch now that I know what's going on. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
That's it.
The glaze-a-thon is over.
It's over.
If you hate these episodes,
the donut is fully glazed.
If you hate these episodes, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah, if you hate these episodes, just wait. I'm sure we'll get a bad one.
Maybe you hated the episode where we glazed the fucking Dream Warriors for like an hour, but like
it happens.
Listen, we like movies, okay?
Yeah, we love movies. That's why we
fucking love movies.
Why we started the podcast?
Why do you think we have this podcast?
It's not because we hate it.
And it's our podcast, so we can say what we want.
This is all very true.
But please go watch it.
Yes.
If you take away anything from this movie, this episode, just go watch the movie.
Yeah.
See what you think about it.
Yeah. And then tell us. Comment on our YouTube channel. Go like, comment, subscribe again, please. Really helps us out. Give suggestions.
We do every 5 episodes. Please
coming.
Remember that. It's coming. I am so fucking excited for the next one.
Oh, boy.
I am so fucking excited.
Werewolf Yeti movie.
I'm fucking so excited. Tune in for that in a few episodes. I'm so fucking stoked. I cannot wait. For they mostly come out at night. This has been Will.
This has been Alex.
We will talk to you all later. Bye now. Yeti versus werewolf. Fuck yeah. I'm so fucking hyped.